Hi guys, what's up? It's Alex here, and today we're going to have another dual commentary with Alex Stop, because the last one went down really well, and it got a great response and a lot of good comments, so we thought we'd do one about after the testing, because a lot of interesting stuff has happened through it. And would you like to say hello, Alex?
Hello, everyone.
And I think the last time it gave your channel a bit of a boost, which was
Yeah,
quite
it did.
nice. So maybe, I think at the time of recording this, there are about 143.
Yep.
And maybe if we can hit that over 150, that would be pretty good.
Yep.
And yeah, so what we're going to go through is the teams to start off with. We thought that would be the best way to start, because when we made that video, we didn't really realise how many changes of teams and the sort of stuff was going to happen before the start of the season.
Mm.
And that's mainly to do with some of the back 3 or 4 teams. So yeah, I'll start off with Red Bull. Sebastian Vettel and Mark Webber, as said before. Ferrari going to have Alonso and Massa. McLaren will have Jenson Button and Sergio Perez. Lotus, Kimi Raikkonen and Grosjean. Mercedes will have Rosberg and Hamilton. And Sauber will have Hulkenberg and Gutierrez. I don't know why I stumbled there. But yeah, that's all the same as we said before, but Alex is going to go through the rest where it starts to get a bit more complicated.
Yeah, it does. Force India, of course, we Paul di Resta. He got confirmed, of course, quite a bit ago by the launch. And instead of, there was a shootout between Bianchi and Sutil for the last Force India seat. And as you all know, Sutil got the seat. Now this has faced some criticism from people believing that, he's already had a chance in F1. He shouldn't be allowed back and that kind of thing. What's your opinion on Adrian Sutil, Alex?
Well, a lot of people probably know that when he was racing back in 2011, I was quite a bit of a fan of him, because he managed to just get it in the points pretty much whatever happened. And I think, like with Grosjean, he had a horrible 2009, and still Lotus brought him back for last year. And,
yeah, Grosjean was terrible in 2009.
Exactly, and Sutil has shown in the 2 testing days that he's had, or 3, but the latest 2, that he's pretty fast. I think he got like a 4th and a 3rd in his 2 days. So
yeah, some people are impressed that his neck held up, because of course he's been out of motorsport for a year. He hasn't done anything, I don't think.
I think well, everybody else in the field has done some sort of motorsport the year before, so that's impressive.
He's probably done training.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't have thought he'd just go, I'm on trial, I'm just going to relax, stay at home.
Yeah.
Eat some pizza. That kind of thing.
Right.
Williams, of course, they had the latest launch of anyone. Had the Barcelona test, as many of you again saw. But the driver lineup stays exactly the same with Maldonado and Bottas. Toro Rosso also stays the same with Verne and Ricciardo. Nothing really exciting at Toro Rosso. Well, their car looks better than last year. I just want to point that out. Now, Caterham, Charles Pic was confirmed before Brazil. But now we have Guido van der Garde, who's been long waiting in the wings, actually, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Has he actually won GP2? Did he win GP2?
I don't think he's won a championship, but he's won a lot of races, because he's been in there so long.
Yeah. Hasn't he been in there since the beginning of the series? But he was in there.
I don't think he's been that long, but since like 2007, 2008, I'd say, about that sort of time. I'm just gonna go and have a look now, just to see. GP2 started 2008. Yeah.
Yeah, so GP2 was on before that.
Yeah, it's been going for 2005. So yeah, I think he's been in there for a long time, but he's showing he's pretty fast.
Yeah, he's very tall, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he's like as tall as Jenson Button, Mark Webber.
Yeah, Mark Webber's the tallest, I know that. Felipe Massa's the shortest on the grid.
I saw did you see this in F1 Racing?
No, I didn't know.
Right, 'cause I think that's in F1 Racing. Something about that.
I saw a picture on Twitter of them all like lined up and then their weights. And Vettel,
yeah, I think that might have been it actually. Maybe I saw it from that. I have no idea. So sorry, I'm interrupting.
Now Caterham, of course, you see they've got the new livery, sort of brighter green, which they say will give them, made them look better on track. That's what they said. But it's their car is very much an evolutionary model from last year, along with Red Bull. There's the evolutionary. McLaren isn't. Ferrari. Could you say Ferrari is the evolutionary one?
Yeah, I mean it looks pretty similar, but the front wing and everything look quite a lot different.
And then Toro Rosso also evolutionary. Yes, Caterham. Yeah, it visibly looks like last year's car.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of the step in the nose and
all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Now, of course, we're on to Marussia, and the signed Razzia had his contract terminated because of sponsor payments and not paying them on time, because he did the first Jerez test and it looked fine, nothing was wrong there.
Yeah.
And then he just didn't appear at the second Barcelona, the Barcelona test, the first Barcelona test, and Chilton just drove around, as if he was the only one driver, and then suddenly Bianchi was signed. Didn't Heikki Kovalainen go for a seat fitting?
I don't know if we went for a fitting, but I was listening to it on Sky Sports, and they said that Carter Kane and Trulli were some of the possible candidates to.
Carter Kane.
But yeah, a lot of people laugh at Carter Kane, but he brings in quite a bit of money.
Yeah, he has the car sponsor Tata, doesn't he?
Yeah.
They
look a bit weird on the Marussia, like Tata. And
yes, it's suited the HRT, but HRT are no more.
Sadly.
Yeah. Although Scorpion Racing aren't anymore either. Well, they could come for 2014, people said. But it's unlikely because it's so expensive, probably.
Yeah.
Because they can't just get the old HRT and put it in there because it'll be so uncompetitive and the engine won't fit.
Yeah.
Because the turbocharger. Now, last driver on the grid is Max Chilton, who's had a lot of time in the car and he covered a lot of kilometres. And, well, he must have a good feeling of that car, I would have thought.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think how many days has he had? Probably like six of like the total.
He's had more than anyone else.
Yeah, definitely.
Actually, no, I'm not sure. Grosjean's had quite a lot.
Oh yeah, because Kimi Räikkönen missing out, and I don't really know. It's hard to. I can't remember off the top of my head, but.
Although so is Massa.
Yeah. It's quite.
Yeah.
I was just saying it's quite weird now. In the space of like 1.5 months between these commentaries we've made, the Carter Kane and what am I saying? Carter Kane,
Razzia.
Glock was dumped. Then Razzia was dumped, and so many drivers have gone in and out of Marussia in that one space of time.
Yeah, it's all about sponsors, isn't it?
Yeah, sadly.
I know that Marussia, back when they were Virgin Racing, they had the lowest budget in Formula One.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was something like they're planning to work on £60 million,
Wow.
which seems a lot. But I'd like £60 million, but
did Schumacher get paid 60 million or something like that from Mercedes?
Who?
Was it Schumacher or was it?
No, I know that Alonso is the most paid.
Maybe it was Alonso.
I think Alonso's paid 30 million. Yeah.
Maybe I was getting my numbers wrong.
Like in an old F1 racing thing, it's got from 2010. It says the most paid per lap, and Kimi Räikkönen was still being paid by Ferrari in 2010 by not racing, and per lap, if you did the laps, it was something like $5,000.
Wow.
Per lap he did, which is pretty good.
Such a dream job.
Yeah, he went off rallying instead.
He's already paid for it from that, didn't he?
I don't know. I don't know what happened to Kimi Räikkönen. Didn't he go to NASCAR?
I don't even know.
I think he went for one NASCAR race, and then I think something went wrong with his car, and he said it was crap. I think I saw that from YouTube though, so somewhere else on YouTube. So I wouldn't hold that as a reliable source. I'm not a reliable source. I just want to point that out.
Shall we move on to who's going to be strong in Malaysia and Australia? You had this idea to talk about some like the drivers that have been typically fast here.
Yeah. There's Jenson Button. You have to say is the strongest guy currently on the grid. Michael Schumacher was. He's had the most victories around Australia. But of course, he's retired now. and Button could potentially equal Schumacher's record.
Really?
Yeah, because Button won 2009
Oh, yeah,
for Brawn, 2010 for McLaren, and 2012 for McLaren.
I didn't realise that.
So if he gets his 4th victory, he'll equal Michael Schumacher. So you'd have to say that Button should be competitive.
And it's been in the last like 3 or 4 years, isn't it, as well? It's not as
Yeah,
if
it's
it's
been recent.
Like,
Yeah.
it's not as, if it's been from 2000 to 2013, it's been from 2009.
Yeah, he's been really good around there recently. So has Lewis Hamilton. We can't really just throw him out. We haven't really mentioned him so far. One of the fastest people in F1, you'd have to say.
Yep.
Even if you're a Hamilton fan, you have to appreciate that he's fast.
Yeah, definitely.
He got pole there last year. But the guy, for me, that looks like he's going to dominate the weekend is Sebastian Vettel. What do you think?
I don't know. I made a video a while back saying Jenson Button is going to be this year's champion, and after the testing, it's not so it doesn't look as good. Let's just say that. For him.
Yeah. The McLaren, they've been saying it looks unpredictable. And if you've seen the locking that was happening with the front brakes, it looks like mid 2012 kind of problems.
Yeah.
Yeah, like around Silverstone was their low point last year. It looks like the car is at that point, which is not good at all. Because Force India, Sauber were faster than them at that point.
Yeah.
And of course, McLaren doesn't really want to be fighting with Force Indias and Saubers.
I'm sure Force India and Sauber would like that, but
Yeah, they would. Yeah.
But yeah. So, if you had to pick a winner for Melbourne right now, who would you say?
Oh, you can't discount Vettel.
Alright. I'm gonna go with Perez.
Perez. Oh,
Yeah.
that's a far out bet.
No, let's just put it there and probably see I'm wrong.
I've got a bet with do you know Arte?
Yeah. It's in my
Yeah.
head now.
With about whether Adrian Sutil will get a podium in 2013. 1,200 Microsoft points are riding on it.
Oof.
And do you think he'll get a podium?
Yeah. At some point in the season, I do think he will.
I think as well, because that Force India, it did the longest stint on the hard tyre.
Mm-hmm.
It did 34 laps on the hard tyre.
It might be the Sauber last year, and we saw what Sauber did, or what Sauber did, last year.
Yeah, but of course, then again, you have to look at the people's driving styles.
Yeah.
Because Kamui Kobayashi wasn't particularly very good on his tyres. Yeah, they never heralded Kobayashi, did they, for his tyre saving skills?
Not really.
In Japan, you didn't need to do any tyre saving skills because that track was pretty okay on the tyres, as far as I remember.
Yeah. Still sad that Kobayashi didn't get a seat.
Yeah, it is. Especially he set up that website, didn't he?
Mm.
And he actually got something like £1.5 million.
Yeah.
Or $1.5 million.
So that's like £1 million, I think. And
Yeah. Still a lot from just, probably most Japanese
yeah.
people.
So do you want to move on to Malaysia? Who you think is going to be strong there? To be honest, off the top of my head, I can't remember. Last year's winner was Alonso. I think 2011, probably Vettel. He probably
Yeah,
got
well,
well away.
2010 was... Oh, I can't remember that far back.
I think it might be... I don't even know now.
It wasn't Vettel, because he broke down, I think.
Do you want me to go and check? Let's go and check. Then 2009, that was Button, I think.
Yeah, it was. That was when it was red flagged.
Yeah. You can't really discount that sort of thing happening again, can you?
No, Malaysia is a hot spot for that kind of thing. Huge downpours.
Yeah.
And massive heat, which Sauber were actually concerned about at one point. People thought that, because they've got the really small side pods, that the cooling, if it's too hot in Malaysia, they could potentially just break down, overheating. So, which I'm sure they don't want to do.
No, Vettel did win 2010, by the way. I should check that.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he didn't win until China.
No, I think was that 2009 when he didn't win until China.
It might have been. Well, because
to be honest.
no, it's so long ago, isn't it?
Too many good years and races have gone.
What, 3 years? Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Oh.
pretty much all last year was a good race. You know, aside from
India.
probably, yeah. Well, that's the one where Vettel dominated it. So yeah. Pretty
Yeah.
much except from that one.
I don't like Vettel dominating races. Actually, I don't like anyone dominating races.
No,
Really.
that's what it's like. Not when it's boring watching the same person win every race. So
Hmm.
if Charles Peake won every single race the next year,
Actually, no, that'd be pretty amazing.
that'd be pretty good. But if it was anybody else, it'd be pretty boring.
Adrian Sutil.
Oh, that'd just be great.
Be your favourite thing for him to dominate every single race.
So should we move on to some personal opinions? Anybody you think is going to be weak and strong this year?
Well, weak or strong. I have to say that Felipe Massa, at the end of 2012, looked like he was on his 2008 form.
Yep.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was faster than Alonso. Yeah, around Brazil. Well, Brazil, you kind of expect him to because he's got all the support from his fans. He's won there before. Alonso hasn't won there before. Has he? No, he hasn't. I'm not sure. I don't think he has. I know that Alonso won both of his championships at Brazil, but I don't think he won.
he ever has won there, from what I can remember.
I
But,
can't remember.
Massa got his podium in Japan, didn't he? And
Yeah,
I think he would have beat Alonso in that race too.
you think?
Yeah, probably. Actually, that was such a messed up race though when you think back at it. So much random stuff just happened.
Oh yeah, Kobayashi went shooting in second because Mark Webber had his characteristic terrible start.
And then got took out by a certain somebody.
Is that Grosjean?
I think so, yeah. I think that was the guy that might have took
It's very
out.
rare for him to have first lap incidents.
I don't know. Well, hopefully that sort of thing doesn't happen this year, but
Yeah, it's pretty unfortunate to add people's races. It kind of ruins. Like you think, Lotus is really good in race trim. Hopefully, Kimi Räikkönen can go charging up, and then his teammate goes and crashes into him.
it was like a third of the races last year, I think, wasn't it? When he had an accident on the first couple of laps. I think
Yeah, he had
7?
Australia, Malaysia. I don't think he had one in Bahrain. No, he didn't get one in Bahrain. He finished third. Spain, he crashed into Perez. Well, gave Perez a puncture.
And then Monaco.
Yeah, Monaco, where he just went into
That's, in the first 6 races, that's 4.
Yeah, it's not particularly a good record.
So
Although you have to give it to Grosjean. When he finished well.
yeah, definitely.
As in Canada, yeah, he made a one-stop work, and he finished second place.
Yeah. He
Which-
beat Perez, who was on the same strategy and a similar pace car.
Yeah, pretty much. And of course, you have Alonso and Vettel, who were one-stopping until Vettel made a late pit stop. So Romain Grosjean, he's certainly fast. He's seeing a psychologist, isn't he?
I think he was, I don't know whether he still is, but something good for him.
Yeah, except nobody else on the grid has a psychologist.
Yeah, and that makes you think why.
Yeah. But other people that I think will be pretty weak, if you want to say that. I don't think that Esteban Gutierrez will be.
Yeah, I probably have to agree with that. I mean, I think he's a cool guy, and he's shown
'Cause
that he's fast.
Nico Hulkenberg, I mean, he is really impressive, I think.
It's going to be sort of a double pain for him, because I don't think he's going to be that fast.
Mm.
Just because he hasn't had sort of mileage that somebody like Van der Garde, just for example, that someone's new to the sport as well.
Yeah.
Well, not new to sport, new to F1.
Yeah.
But he just hasn't had the miles, and obviously they're trying to give him some miles here. But I still think the first start of the season is going to be a bit of a pain for Gutierrez. And then you double that with Hulkenberg probably being one of the top 6-7 guys on the grid.
Yeah.
A lot of people won't agree with that, but I certainly think he's right up there.
Yeah, I'd agree with you, Nico Hulkenberg being up there as well. I'd also put Nico Rosberg up there, which a lot of people underrate as a driver.
We'll see, because Rosberg was fastest of that whole test we just went through there. On the one of his runs on the last day, I think it was, he went 4/10 faster than Hamilton. So
Yeah, but of course you can't read too much into
Yeah.
test times. Yeah, because you can't say that Rosberg's going to be 4/10 faster than Hamilton throughout the whole season.
yeah, up
Yeah.
and down everything.
Also, you know that Lewis Hamilton's going to be strong around Canada and Abu Dhabi.
Mm.
That's just a given because at Canada, Lewis Hamilton is like
Either crashed or won, I think.
it's only in 2011 they didn't do well.
Yeah.
He won in 2010. 2009, I don't think he had the car.
No, it didn't run in 2009.
Oh yeah, he didn't run in 2009 at all. Yeah, 2008 he won. 2007 he won.
Wait, was it? No, 2008 he crashed, didn't he? Into the pit. He crashed into somebody in the pit lane.
Oh yeah, he crashed into Kimi, didn't he?
Yeah. I think he's
And
either
then-
crashed or won the race, so that's a pretty good record for him around there.
Yeah, he crashed. Yeah, I remember now actually. Yeah, he crashed into the back of Kimi Raikkonen because the red light was on,
Yeah.
and then Robert Kubica won the race.
I think, however much of a Hamilton fan you are, seeing Robert Kubica win a race is always just something
Yeah,
to
good.
remember.
It's good for the sport as well
Yeah.
because he was the first ever Polish driver on a podium, I think.
Yeah, and then goes and nearly wins the championship in 2008, only a couple of points away.
Yeah, that's true. Also, there's a battle of nationalities. People are saying this year because there's 4 French drivers. There's Jean-Eric Verne, Charles Pic,
Grosjean.
Grosjean. I'm losing track here. And
Bianchi.
Bianchi. Yeah, that's 4 from France. And then you got 4 from Britain. You got Chilton, Button, Hamilton, and De Resta. And then you got 4 Germans.
So that's Vettel, Sutil, Hulkenberg, and somebody else. How on earth do I not know that?
Well, there's 4 Germans. Yeah, Rosberg.
Yeah, Rosberg. Sorry
Yeah,
about that, Rosberg.
Also, we've got so many of these Asia races, yet there is no Asian driver now.
Exactly, that sort of makes you think it's about the money now, Formula One, sadly.
No, but the thing is, if you think about the world economy right now,
Yeah.
Countries like China and India are on the rise. So you would have thought,
Well, there's the guy that's I think it's racing for Caterham now. Is it? I don't want to pronounce his whole name wrong, but I think his last name's Kwa.
oh, he's Chinese.
Yeah, he
He drove
tested
HRT.
tested for HRT
And he
last
cried.
year.
Cried.
Yeah, tried and cried. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think I might too if I got a test of any F1 car.
Yeah, but you wouldn't really want to do it in front of the press, would you? Yes.
Yeah, maybe.
Next, when you go back to China, people would just call you like a crybaby.
I
And stuff.
know,
It'd be a bad reputation to have.
I think he's like only 20 years old, wasn't he? He's pretty young.
Yeah, he's really young. Yeah, he's really young. Of course, the youngest guy on the grid currently is Esteban. He's 22, isn't he? 21.
I think then Chilton as well. They're both really young.
Yeah, well, Chilton looks young. You'd have to say that. Well, Esteban looks young as well. Actually, you have to say that.
Yeah.
Although, the oldest on the grid's now Mark Webber.
I think this might be his last year. So,
Really?
It depends how badly he does. I don't want him to do badly, but
Depends how badly he does. Looking on the positive side.
yeah.
But if he gets another season where he probably would get another contract extension
Exactly, yeah.
if he does what he did last season, which was
Be great at the first start.
Yeah,
Or
but of
suck at
course-
the end.
at the end everything. Well, he got second place in Korea, but Red Bull were just good
Yeah.
there, so you can't. Well, it's a bit harsh not to give it to him, but but I mean, places like Silverstone, he's really strong around Silverstone.
And Spain as well is pretty good around there. It's just never. He's had the one win, just never any luck apart from that.
Wait, didn't he finish 11th in the 2012 Spanish
Yeah.
Grand Prix?
In Spain, I think.
He got lapsed, didn't he?
Yeah, or something like that. But he got pole in 2011, won in 2010.
Yeah.
You got to think maybe the car wasn't too good last year around Spain, but who knows?
Yeah. Well, the Red Bull wasn't the quickest.
Yeah.
The McLaren was arguably the quickest, but
Now the Nardo, what an absolute lad.
well, McLaren cocked up the fuel. The fuel
Yeah.
didn't. So that what could have been for Lewis Hamilton without all of these hiccups from the team. Although saying that, if you look at Mercedes, their record is worse. So really, if you wanted to go to a team without any hiccups, you'd have to say not Red Bull because they've got the alternator problem from last year. You'd have to say the Ferrari.
Ferrari on Force India.
Yeah, because Ferrari and Force India didn't have any breakdowns. Well, I know that Ferrari didn't have any breakdowns.
I don't think Force India did, off the top of my head, for 2012, but
I can't remember any.
yeah. So, is that pretty much it? Anything else you want to round up on, or?
I think that's it.
Alright, so we should end there probably then.
I bet we've missed something really important.
Probably we missed one key thing that
Everyone wants to hear.
and it's probably that somebody's confirmed in Formula 1.
Probably, yeah. Somebody's going to get kicked out.
So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you all for watching. If you've actually watched up to this point, that is pretty legendary. And if you are still here, remember to go and check out Alex's channel down in the description of the video. And we'll probably do one of these sometime soon, maybe like after 3 or 4 races. Maybe we can do these like every couple of races, just to sort of get an idea of the field and everything.
We could do a one after, well, when the European season starts.
Yeah, that'd probably be a good thing. So yeah, thank you for watching, everybody, and yeah, goodbye.